Thank you for turning to page 121. Today in the Dungeon Master's Guide, we find a ring of free action. I love this magic item. It's one of my favorites in all of D&D. This might be one I've given out, if not the most, I've given it out a lot. A ring of free action is one of my favorite. But you have to be careful with this guy because it can easily unbalance any kind of scenario you have, and I'll explain as I go. So, ring of free action. This ring enables the wearer to move, attack freely and normally, whether attacked by a web, hold, or slow spell, or even while underwater. In the former case, the spells have no effect, while in the latter, the individual moves at normal surface speed and does full damage even with such cutting weapons as axes, scimitars, and other smashing weapons as flails, hammers, and maces. Insofar as the weapon used is held rather than hurled. So you can't throw your sword, which is silly anyway. That's just a TV thing. And this will not, however, enable water breathing without the further appropriate magic. So, ring of free action. Why the heck do I want this thing? Why wouldn't I want it? It makes you immune to web, hold, slow spells, or gives you free movement underwater. That's a tremendous advantage in any kind of scenario. You can't be held by a web spell. It's as if the spell is not there. One of the favorite tactics my group has is if they are 4th, 5th level, someone will throw a web spell. They'll web up a lot of bad guys. If somebody has free action, into the web they'll go, unhindered by the web, and they'll just go ahead and dispatch their foes. Now, the way I handle the web is that the web, it says the spells have no effect. I still treat the web itself as a physical obstruction. In other words, I treat it like a big bunch of ropes that the player still has to kind of move through, but they can move through freely. They're not held or pinned in any way. But the idea is that the free action allows them to just kind of go into the net and do what they have to do or cross the net. I had a scenario where the thief was far ahead of the party and was running back. The players webbed the hallway shut, knowing that the thief had a ring of free action. He simply dove into the web and scrambled through and got out, and the creatures pursuing him weren't able to continue because the rest of the hallway was blocked by a web. So that was a really good use for it too. As far as being immune to hold or slow spells, tremendous effect. This ring's worth it just for that. To be able to be immune to a hold spell, that's really good because a lot of the hold spells have intrinsic negative modifiers to your saving throw if you're the only target of the spell. So it gives you tremendous ability there. And now let's talk about underwater. You jump into water and you're fighting whatever creature you're fighting. You're fighting as if you were in the air. You are completely unobstructed by the water. You can get full power and swing and balance into your attacks. It's fabulous. And now let's take it one step further. You're flying. You can fly, see the air quotes, underwater. The fly spell simply treats it as 12-inch movement swimming, which is incredibly fast. Now, if you have free action, you can fly underwater and fight. And I've had that happen a couple of times as my player characters had free action and a Helm of Underwater action or Necklace of Adaptation, something like that. And they could go underwater for a sustained time and just bring the fight to the bad guys under the water. That can be a ton of fun. You get the player under the water, you get him zipping around with the fly spell. He can do a lot. I've had an adventure, a seaborne adventure I did a few years ago. Players were aboard ship. The player with the Ring of Free Action was a magic user who did have a fly spell. He also had a Necklace of Adaptation. He was about 9th level. He jumped over the side, and he took the fight to the bad guys as far as flying under the water, distracting them, doing whatever kind of spells would work. I allow Magic Missile to work underwater. The only problem with that is, of course, there's a verbal component, which means that with the Necklace of Adaptation on, he's got to speak. So I had him cough and sputter a little bit after that. But he was able to distract the monsters through his high mobility and his ability to freely move. It was a really good scenario. So Ring of Free Action, I love this magic item. It's one of my absolute favorites of the entire game. And it's just the immunities are great. Now, I have given this out at low levels. Big mistake. You end up with a scenario where the bad guys have captured the players and they've either chained them up or got them otherwise held. the player can slip the bonds easily. Now, I don't let them get through locked doors with a ring of free action because that's not really what it says, and it's not really how I interpret it. But I did allow them to get to the door, and then the thief was able to do his stuff and get the door open, and the players escaped. And because that's how it is, right? You set them up in a tough scenario, and then they have to use some ingenuity to escape. Let's see what the ring of free action is worth. He says knowing it's worth 1,000 experience points because he's given out a few of these. Well, look at that, 1,000 experience points, 5,000 gold pieces. Worth way more than that, in my opinion. So the ring of free action, I love it. I don't give it freely as I used to. As I said, I gave it a first level one time and regretted it big time. I usually will hold this till about 5th or 6th level, and I'm sparing with them. The old days where I used to give them up kind of freely, I was doing a lot of open tables at that club I was part of, and that was some of the reason why I just gave them up freely, because who cared? It was an open table. Odds are I wouldn't meet these characters again, and if I did, I'd just do something else the following month. So it was just a good place to do it. But my players do have a fair number of these amongst all their characters from playing in my table over the years, and I have a couple of characters that have rings of free action as well. Really good magic item. I recommend it. Let me know what you think. What do you use the ring of free action for? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is better than I'm thinking. Maybe there's something else you would allow the ring to do. I don't know. I'm always interested in comments, so please put them below. Also, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Tell your friends. Let's keep the channel growing. Take a look at the Patreon, see if you can help me out there. But that's all I've got today on page 121. I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.